Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture something, just for a second. The ultimate 80s rock icon.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking denim, sweatbands, huge stadium crowds chanting his name, pyrotechnics, the whole high-energy package. You got it.
I can hear the drums already. Yeah.
No, just swipe that image away. Replace it with a modern CEO sitting in some glass office staring at a terrifying spreadsheet.
Right.
And it's all about employee retention, burnout rates, and this looming mental health crisis.
On the surface, those two things feel like they're in completely different galaxies.
They really do.
One is all about, performance and adrenaline, and the other is just cold, hard corporate survival.
Exactly. But today, we're going to shake that up a bit. We're looking at a stack of sources that suggest these two worlds are, well, actually talking about the exact same thing.
Interesting.
We're diving into insights from Dr. Martin J. McDermott, specifically his book, Rockstar MBA.
Which I have to say is just a fantastic title for a business book.
It really is, isn't it? And we're pairing that with his analysis of the film Deliver Me From Nowhere and some really heavy-hitting research on workplace empathy by Brower.
Okay.
So here's the mission for this deep dive. This is not a music review.
Right. If you tuned in hoping for us to, debate the best guitar solos of 1984, you might be in the wrong place.
You might be. We're exploring the intersection of, let's say, artistic conviction and cold business strategy. And then we're going to pivot into something that feels really different but is intimately connected.
Psychology of leadership.
The psychology of leadership and what's actually happening inside your brain when you're at work.
It's a journey from a bedroom recording studio in New Jersey all the way to the cutting edge of organizational psychology.
It is.
And what I love about this mix of sources is it forces us to connect dots we usually ignore. We tend to keep creativity in one box and management in another.
Yeah.
And McDermott is just smashing those boxes.
Yeah. So let's start with a story that really anchors this whole thing. We're talking about Bruce Springsteen, but not the born in the USA Springsteen that everyone knows.
No. We're talking about the Nebraska era.
The Nebraska era.
And this is a crucial distinction. We're in the early 1980s. The film Deliver Me From Nowhere really zooms in on this specific moment.
And Dr. McDermott watched this film, and he admits, even as a guy who literally wrote the book on this stuff, he had to watch it twice.
The second time with a notebook, right?
The second time with a notebook, because the story of how that album was made is, well, frankly, it's bizarre from a business perspective. It violates almost every rule of product development.
It's the definition of counterintuitive.
So set the scene for us. It's 1982. Springsteen is already a big deal, but he's about to record these new demos. What's the tech stack he's using here?
Well, calling it a tech stack is pretty generous.
Okay.
He records these songs on a Tascam Porta Studio. For anyone listening who isn't an audio nerd, this is a 4-track cassette recorder.
A cassette recorder?
Yeah, it's consumer-grade gear. It's basically a toy compared to professional standards.
So we're talking about, what, a high-noise floor, hiss, no isolation?
All of it. He records these songs in a bedroom in a rented house in New Jersey. It's raw. It's haunting. It sounds so lonely.
Wow.
You can practically hear the empty room on the tape itself.
Okay, but here's the kicker.
Yeah.
He takes these tapes, these grainy, hissing demo tapes, to the studio.
Right.
Now remember, he's Bruce Springsteen. He has access to the best recording equipment in the world, the best engineers, unlimited budget, basically.
Sure.
And the plan is obvious. You take the prototype and you build the final product.
Right. You take the sketch and you turn it into the big glossy painting. They tried to re-record the album with the full band, the expensive microphones, the soundproofing, the works.
And what happened?
They couldn't do it.
What do you mean they couldn't do it? They physically couldn't.
They couldn't capture the feeling. And this is the aha moment that McDermott really highlights. Every time they cleaned up the audio, every time they used the better technology, the song just lost its power.
So the good equipment made it worse.
The better tools actually killed the vibe of the product. The haunting atmosphere it evaporated the moment they tried to polish it.
So what does this all mean for us? Because I think there's a massive lesson in here for anyone who's obsessed with having the best tools or the perfect office setup.
Oh, absolutely. The lesson is that innovation isn't about the hardware. It's not about the software stack you're using or having the most expensive AI or the corner office with a nice view.
Right.
It's about courage and conviction. Springsteen had a vision for a sound, a specific emotion, and that little 4-track recorder, that limitation, was actually the only way to get there.
That's fascinating. We so often tell ourselves, oh, if I just had a bigger budget, or if I just had more headcount, or that new enterprise software, then I could do great work.
And McDermott's point is that sometimes the constraint is the innovation.
Yeah.
The limitation is what drives the product.
Mm.
If Springsteen had slicked that album up, polished it in some multi-million-dollar studio, it wouldn't be Nebraska. It would have just been a generic rock album.
So the flaw was the feature.
The flaw, the hiss, the loneliness, that was the feature.
The flaw was the feature. That is such a powerful idea for product design or even leadership. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. It wasn't just about the recording gear.
No.
It was a strategic choice about his whole career.
This is the part that really speaks to leadership strategy and risk management.
So get this. While he's messing around with this little 4-track recorder for Nebraska, he's simultaneously writing songs for his next project.
Okay.
And do you know what the next project was?
He was born in the USA.
Born in the USA,
Yeah.
one of the biggest selling albums of all time.
A global phenomena.
He had those songs in his pocket. He knew that Born in the USA was going to be the rocket ship. McDermott points out that Springsteen was fully aware that once he released that big pop rock album, his life was going to change forever.
Success at snail.
Exactly.
Okay, so imagine you're a CEO. You've got a product in R&D that you know is a unicorn. You know it will, like 10x your revenue. It is a guaranteed win.
And yet, he shelved it.
He shelved the unicorn?
He chose to release the quiet, weird, risky album first. He put out Nebraska before Born in the USA.
Just think about the confidence that takes. I mean, in a corporate setting, that's almost unheard of.
Right?
That's like tech companies saying, wait, hold on. We have this other smaller, more difficult, darker project that we need to finish first because it defines who we are. The billions of dollars can wait.
So why do you think he did that? From a business psychology perspective, why delay the win?
It's about the integrity of the brand, if we want to use the business jargon. But really, it's about belief in the product. McDermott notes that this kind of clarity is so rare in art and in business. Springsteen knew that if he released the monster hit first, he just becomes the stadium guy.
He'd be pigeonholed.
Totally. Nobody would ever go back and listen to the quiet acoustic album after that. He prioritized the right work over the scaling work. He established his depth before he established his breadth. And that belief, that willingness to hold back the easy win for the authentic win, is a massive lesson for entrepreneurs.
Are you chasing the quick cash, or are you building the thing that actually matters?
It's a tough question.
It is a tough question to answer in the mirror. Are you rushing to scale before you've even defined who you are? But I want to pivot here because McDermott makes a really interesting jump in his analysis.
Okay.
He goes from this solitary, stripped-back artistic process to a much broader and frankly heavier topic, mental health.
It seems like a left turn, but it really isn't. The film touches on this, and Rockstar MBA explores it deeply. We look at a guy like Springsteen or any high performer, and we just see the lights, the crowds, the success.
We see the Born in the USA version.
Precisely. We don't see the Nebraska version. Nebraska was born out of isolation. It was born out of a dark period. And this leads us to what's called the iceberg principle.
Okay, I'm looking at the diagram from the source material here. It's a classic iceberg illustration. You've got the water line. Above the water, there's a small triangle labeled what you can see.
Right. And what's on that list? What do we see when we look at our colleagues?
It's expressions, behavior, body language, interaction, basically everything you see when you walk into a meeting or jump on a Zoom call.
And this is how we judge our teams, right? We see someone snap at a coworker, or show up late, or roll their eyes, or maybe they're just quiet. We see the behavior.
But then there's the bottom of the iceberg, the what you can't see. And this list it's heavy.
Go on, read it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says loss, their past, trauma, struggles, regrets, pain.
That is the reality of the human experience. And the source material makes a critical point here. Leaders almost exclusively react to the top of the iceberg. They manage behavior.
Hey, you were late. Stop being late.
Exactly. Hey, you seem irritable. Fix your attitude. But they're completely ignoring the massive chunk of ice below the surface that's driving that behavior.
So if you're only managing the behavior, you aren't leading the person.
You're not. You're just rearranging deck chairs. The film reminds us that even rock stars, maybe especially rock stars, have this massive underwater section of regrets and trauma. And your accountant has it too. Your marketing manager has it too.
It's easy to nod along and say, sure, mental health is important, but I think we need to look at the data here because Brower brings some stats that frankly scared me a little bit.
Mhm.
This moves the conversation from feelings to functionality.
The data moves this from a nice-to-have conversation to a business emergency conversation.
So this is from a global study. The headline is 42% of people have experienced a decline in mental health.
Almost half the workforce. Just pause on that. Look around your office or your next Zoom grid. Statistically, half the people you're looking at are doing worse than they were before.
And when you drill down into the specifics, it gets worse. 67% of people are experiencing increases in stress.
67%.
57% have increased anxiety. 54% are emotionally exhausted.
Emotionally exhausted. I just want to stick on that phrase. That means they're empty. They are showing up to work, but the tank is dry. There's no reserve energy for creativity or problem solving.
And 53% are sad, 50% are irritable.
Okay, and irritable is interesting because that's the top of the iceberg again.
It's the visible part.
It's the visible behavior. A manager sees an irritable employee and thinks, bad attitude, I need to put them on a PIP. But the data tells us that irritability is a symptom of that 57% anxiety or that 54% exhaustion.
But here's where the hard business types usually tune out. I can just hear the objection. Well, I'm not a therapist. As long as they do their work, it's fine.
Right.
But the data says they aren't doing their work, or at least not as well.
This is the productivity kill shot. The stats show this mental health decline directly impacts output. 28% have trouble concentrating.
Wow.
20% take longer to finish tasks.
That's a huge number. 1 in 5 people are just slower because of this cognitive load.
Think about it like a computer. If your brain is running a background program called anxiety or trauma processing, that takes up RAM. It takes up your processing power.
You've got too many tabs open in your brain.
Exactly. And the stats back that up. 15% have difficulty thinking. 12% are challenged to juggle responsibilities. So if you're a leader and you ignore the bottom of the iceberg because you think it's soft stuff,
Then you're ignoring the problem.
you are actively ignoring why your team is 20% slower. You're ignoring the root cause of your own efficiency problem.
So we have the problem. We have the innovation lesson from Springsteen. You know, sometimes you have to strip things back to be authentic. We have the data showing everyone is struggling. What's the solution? The source material points to one word.
Empathy.
And I can hear eyes rolling again. Empathy. It's such a buzzword. It's on every HR poster in every break room.
It is, but we need to reclaim it. We need to define it strictly based on the text here. It's not just being nice. It's not feeling sorry for someone. That's sympathy.
Right.
The definition is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It is literally putting yourself in another person's shoes. It's a data gathering exercise.
And Brower identifies this as one of the most critical leadership skills, not a bonus skill, a critical one.
It's a mandate. I mean, if you cannot understand what is happening below the waterline of that iceberg, you cannot lead effectively in the modern world, period.
You're making decisions with incomplete data.
Exactly.
But does it work? Does it actually fix the productivity issues? Or does it just, make people feel better while the work still lags?
There's a really compelling study cited in Brower from evolutionary biology. And this is fascinating because it takes it out of the corporate world and just looks at human nature as a species.
Okay, what did they find?
They found that when organizations and, groups of humans in general introduce empathy into decision-making, it increases cooperation. But here's the best part. It creates a loop.
A loop.
Empathy fosters more empathy.
So it's contagious?
Yes. When a leader shows they understand the unseen struggles, the trauma, the stress, the fatigue, employees don't just feel better. They start treating each other better. The cooperation goes up, the friction goes down.
And presumably that cognitive load we talked about decreases.
Exactly. That 20% lag in finishing tasks starts to disappear because people aren't spending all their energy masking their struggles or, protecting themselves. They can actually focus on the work.
It's the empathy feedback loop.
It is. And it turns a group of isolated individuals into an actual team.
It's funny. We started this deep dive talking about a 4-track recorder in a bedroom.
The Nebraska tapes.
Yeah. And we ended up talking about global mental health statistics and evolutionary biology. But when you step back, it's all the same conversation, isn't it?
It really is. It's about looking deeper. Think about it. Springsteen looked deeper than the shiny studio equipment to find the real sound. He had to strip away the noise to find the truth. And effective leaders need to look deeper than the shiny surface behaviors of their employees to find the real person.
It's about recognizing that what you see, whether it's a polished pop song or a smiling employee, is never the whole story.
And realizing that sometimes the most valuable thing isn't the loud, successful, born in the USA moment. Sometimes the value is in the quiet, difficult, messy Nebraska moments. That's where the truth is.
That's where the connection happens.
That's right.
So here's the question I want to leave you with today. It's kind of a two-parter. First, in your own work, are you rushing toward your born in the USA moment? Are you chasing the easy win, the scalable product just because the tools are there? Or should you be focusing on your Nebraska, the quieter, riskier, but maybe more authentic work?
And secondly, when you look at your team tomorrow, I mean, really look at them. Are you only reacting to the tip of the iceberg? When someone is late or quiet or irritable, are you judging the behavior, or are you curious about the 90% of the ice you can't see?
Because according to the data and according to the boss, that's where the real story is.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.